a wash, a talk,
and a decontamination. Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today, we've got this beautiful Chevy SS. Those of you from Australia know this as a Holden. But anyways, beautiful car, souped up engine, lots of power. It was raining when I brought it in. Just at idle, the rear wheels were spinning, just sitting there. There's a lot of power here. But anyways, fun vehicle. We're gonna be washing it. We're gonna be decontaminating using a rinseless wash. It's full of beating because it was pouring rain when we brought it in. And now, welcome to Nebraska. 1 minute it's pouring rain, the next minute, beautiful sunshine.
Folks want to know how to wash? Let's show them how to do it, Ivan.
Yep.
Let's get to brass tacks. We're going to talk while we do this.
Right, so very easy. We're going to be spraying a rinseless wash over the whole surface, even though it's wet. This is going to help break down some of the dirt that's on the surface.
Now, a rinseless wash doesn't mean a hoseless wash.
No,
Talk
definitely.
about what a rinseless wash is, when to use it, and why.
Anytime you'd use a soap, you can use a rinseless. They're interchangeable. But rinseless wash makes drying a little easier, a little safer, a little faster. And you can see what you're doing.
That's my favorite part about rinseless, besides using less water, besides using less time, besides maybe being a little less work. I mean, I love suds, it's fun. Yeah, when I'm actually washing, I can see where I've been and where I've missed. And that's very important for me because I tend to miss spots.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not all the time.
Speaking of missing spots, can you spray the wheels with a bit of all clean, Nick?
Sure.
The reason we're putting the all clean on there is as a pre-soak. We're letting it break down that brake dust, the dirt that's on the wheels and tires. That way when we rinse this all off, we'll have a wheel that's basically grit-free at that point and we just need to brush it. Now, the other thing is, this vehicle is covered in little leaves. It's fall when we're recording this, so we have these little yellow leaves everywhere on the car. We don't want to be washing with these on here. If they get into your wash bucket, they float around, they just make life a little more difficult. While Nick is finishing that, I'm going to prepare my wash bucket. I've got 3.5 gallons of water. I'm going to use 4 capfuls of rinseless wash. Normally it's 1 capful per gallon, but since I have 3.5, there's 3 full capfuls and there's a half.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they're using a rinseless wash?
Using too much.
That's why I heard you talking about dilutions and I wanted to make sure folks don't use too much.
No, more is not better. We've allowed the rinseless wash to dwell, to emulsify, to break down the dirt on the surface. Now we're going to rinse it away. We're taking the grit off the vehicle. That's a very important thing. Any wash media, it doesn't matter what it is, if you have grit on the surface, you risk scratching it. So, by removing the grit, leaving the traffic film the wash media can take care of with ease. But grit is what we're concerned about. That's why this chemical rinse chemical approach, meaning we put the rinseless on, we rinse it off, and then we put more chemical on, we do the contact wash, is the safest way of doing it.
But can we talk about a couple of things first? We don't see the rinseless necessarily the way we do soap. It just looks like water.
Right.
So there is a process happening, a chemical process that's helping us.
Yeah.
And 2, what are you seeing on the paint? I mean, water behavior wise, because what I'm seeing is some kind of protection, some kind of cared for vehicle. I'm seeing the water beads, and that tells me something.
No, it's cared for, but it's also very scratched up. I saw this car when it was dry, and definitely it needs a bit of work.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to continue rinsing. Nick, on the other side, if you can start applying the rinseless wash.
Anything I should be thinking about as I'm applying the rinseless for the second time, Ivan?
Getting it everywhere.
Ivan, we've used detail kegs. We've used this Scott's sprayer, which you can find, I'm sure, at a local home improvement store or Amazon. You could just use a spray bottle and dunk it in your already diluted bucket of rinseless, right? Like, let's just talk about the principles of applying it to the surface.
Right, you just need to get it on the surface. There's nothing more complicated than that. You don't need any fancy tools. We have a keg, we've got all sorts of tools. We have these IK sprayers. We tried everything, they all work. Just Pick one you like and use it.
But we want a sprayer and not a foamer. And that's something that if you're new to this, it's like I got sprayers and I got foamers, right? You just want to spray the rinseless wash on.
Right, now you can foam it on if you want, but you're using a little more product. While the rinseless is dwelling on the surface, I'm gonna add a little more all clean to these wheels. We can clean the wheels, let the rinseless dwell on the surface, breaking down that traffic film even more.
If you're in direct sunlight, you may be concerned about your product drying on the paint. The cool thing about rinseless wash is you could actually let this dry, go right to the wheels, and you'd be okay. True or false, Ivan?
100% true.
When it comes to wheel cleaning, you really only need 2 brushes. But which one do you use first? You've got the barrel brush, you got the wheel and body brush. We're gonna use this one second. The reason being, whatever might be inside those barrels could be kind of nasty and we don't want to drive it into the face of the wheels. So after we've properly foamed and rinsed and foamed the wheel again, we know that there's not any grit on this surface, right? So we're gonna wash the surface of the wheel first. And after that, that's when we're gonna get into the barrel. So if we pull out anything nasty, guess what? We're not gonna be driving it back into the wheel. I'm gonna put that back in my bucket. We've got rinseless wash in there. And now I've got the wheel and body brush done, put away. Now it's time for the barrel brush. I'm gonna twist it. And whatever I pull out, it might go onto the face of the wheel. Boom, dip it back in and continue like so. When it comes to the green brush, I like to start at the valve stem, work my way around. When it comes to the barrel brush, I kind of do half of it and then work top to bottom on the other half. It's a nice little system. It's very safe and very effective. I'm gonna pressure wash clean and we're done. A clean and happy wheel.
While Nick is finishing up the wheels over there, we're gonna start to wash with the Legacy sponge. We dunk it in our bucket. We wring it out till it's just on the verge of dripping. And then we lightly go over the surface. No pressure on the sponge. Working from top to bottom. And the dirt we accumulate, as soon as we touch that bucket, it's gone. Now, I got a little leaf remnant here. Let me get rid of that and move on. And you can see where I've been and where I haven't been. This back door has been done. Look at the way the water is behaving on it. The front door hasn't. So very telltale sign. Where have I been, where haven't I been?
I can hear the contamination on this paint, Ivan.
Yes. Now, while we're doing these videos, people always tell us, the cars aren't dirty. Just like the camera puts 10 pounds on us, it also takes about 10 pounds of dirt off the car. They never look dirty on camera, even though they could be filthy. Now, Nick, what did you do up here that you shouldn't have done? Or what didn't you do that you should have done?
Put the wiper arm down?
Right, why is that?
Well, the thing is, when I'm outside, I always put it down, because what you once told me is, all it takes is one snap of this, and you're looking at a windshield that's gonna crash. So if I'm in the elements, I always put it down. I'm in a controlled garage, and I guess I let my guard down.
You could have, we can accidentally hit it.
Okay.
You know, there's all sorts of things that can make it go down. We just want to avoid any possibilities.
It's always good to mitigate like against the big whoopsie, right?
Right.
The older I get, the more I see like just one bad thing like that can ruin your whole day.
Definitely.
So why introduce the risk? I get it.
And you're gonna have to put it down eventually. You might as well put it down now.
True. Often we think of waterless wash as a precision wash, but really I look at rinseless wash as a precision wash. It is so easy to see in the solution on the surface where I've been and where I haven't. And that lets me know exactly where to go and where I don't need to go.
Exactly. Now, If this were just a simple wash that we were doing, we just need to get out our drying towels and start drying the surface. That's all we need to do. But we're going a little more in depth on this one. We're going to be doing a wash, clay, and decontamination. So the washing part we've done. Next we need to do the decontamination and the clay at the same time. So we're doing a mechanical and chemical decontamination in one shot. Let's show you how we do that. In my wash bucket, I have our quad fold decontamination towel, and I'm gonna fold it in fours, just as the name implies. It's designed to be folded. It works that way. Squeeze out a little of the excess liquid. I don't want too much. Then our iron remover, one spray on the towel, one spray on the panel, and match them up. Now I'm gonna decontaminate with no pressure on the towel.
What happens if I drop my legacy sponge on the ground?
You put it in your wash bucket and keep going.
I don't have to throw this away?
No,
I don't have to go to DIYdetail.com and buy a new one?
no, definitely not.
Okay, but if I don't have one, where should I go?
Oh, DIYdetail.com is
Okay.
one of the sources. We have a number of distributors around the world. You can find the list on our website. Then flip to a new side of the towel, one spray on the panel, one spray on the towel, match them up, and off we go.
What about the clay bar, Ivan? That's something that folks have probably heard of.
Yeah, so clay bar is, let's just say, the grandfather of the decontamination towel. But clay bars have a propensity to scratch the paint because they have an abrasive in them. We don't want to do any more damage to the vehicle than there already is.
Isn't there something to be said for having some abrasive though to get the job done? Like, do we not have enough abrasive with the towel? Like, what's going on with the towel versus the bar?
So the towel has no abrasive, and it uses a different technology to clean the surface. For lack of a better term, it's plucking the contamination off the surface.
And it goes in between all these little holes?
Right, and as soon as you put it in your wash bucket, you're flooding the surface. When you flood the surface, it releases everything.
If it doesn't make sense, thousands of these have been sold worldwide. Detailers love them, and they rave about them. If you don't believe it, go to the DIY Detail Facebook group. If you're not a member, just ask to join. It's a private community where there's no such thing as a dumb question. And if you ask about the Decon towel, Ivan, what do you think you're gonna hear?
Rave reviews. People love it. Now, the other thing is, you'll notice that Nick's iron remover is foaming. Mine isn't. The reason for that is that we use these filming sessions to do final testing on products, and this is one of them. So the iron remover that Nick has is foaming up great. This one is not foaming as much. Is it a big deal? No. We won't tell you which is which though.
There's always R&D happening, isn't there, Ivan?
Yes.
Especially when you're doing 5 cars a day. It's just a nice time to try some product. I wouldn't say that R&D happens in every video. I mean, most of these are final products, but it's nice that you're announcing it to the folks today.
Yeah, no, we do a lot of R&D here. And when we're not filming here, that's my primary purpose, is R&D.
Yeah, we do a lot of R&D off camera as well. I'll walk in, Ivan, what are you doing? Testing 3 different versions of something on a panel. Tell them about your R&D experience, Ivan.
Let's just say I've been doing it for several decades.
With many different companies?
Many different companies, many different industries too, so.
So what's the important thing about R&D that folks out there might want to know about?
Research and development is what advances the technologies. It's what it makes detailing easier, simpler, safer as we go along. As an example, our coatings when we started had PFASs in them. We no longer have that. It's safer. That is through R&D. The back of a vehicle is normally where you have a heavier accumulation of contamination.
I could hear it, Ivan.
Yeah. Now this contamination on the back of this could be a bit of rubber from, spinning tires. We never know.
Saving the front bumper till last when you decontaminate. Good idea, bad idea?
Great idea. It allows the insect remains to stay in contact longer with the rinseless wash, meaning that it breaks them down more and more, so less scrubbing is needed on our part.
But surely the more you scrub, the better the clean.
Not always.
If you want to be doing this in 20 years, listen to Ivan, right? The efficiency, the techniques, it's all meant to save your shoulders and your back and your knees. It's all meant to save your body so you can keep delivering amazing results.
Exactly. And speaking of amazing results, time to rinse this off.
What were you saying over there, Ivan?
That people, if they really like this, they should subscribe.
Oh my goodness. It's free, right?
It is.
Ivan and I doing a very rare reversal of roles. Me doing the rinsing, you doing the squeegeeing. Usually I use more water, it gets more humid. That's not a good thing. So you usually rinse, but I'm like, this can't be rocket science.
No.
I'm gonna be able to rinse this car somewhat efficiently, and I'm working on it. Maybe by the time I'm your age, Ivan, I'll have your rinsing skills.
There you go. Now, next thing we need to apply is water spot remover. Why is water spot remover important in decontamination? Nick, tell them.
There's minerals, and they embed themselves into your paint. They embed themselves into your coating. They embed themselves into your paint protection film. Whatever you've got, wheels, glass, plastic, minerals, especially if you live, from my experience, in Utah where there's snow and they put ice melt on the road. It will clog the pores of your coating, and oh my goodness, it doesn't bead anymore. What's going on? If your paint is unprotected, you still have pores that could get clogged up. So the water spot remover breaks down the minerals. Ivan, we call this a mineral cleanse. It's a great way to decontaminate the vehicle before protecting it. It's a great way to decontaminate before polishing. What happens if we don't use water spot remover?
It makes polishing more difficult. You're leaving minerals on the surface. This car was soaking wet when we brought it in here. Did we know it had water spots on it or not? No, we couldn't tell because it was soaking wet and it was dirty. This gives us the insurance that if there were water spots, we've removed the minerals that cause the water spots, and in the polishing step, we'll take care of that.
If you don't need all the information and you just want to get some practical advice, you don't even have to be polishing or protecting after this.
No.
We could literally rinse this off and dry it, and it's going to be easier to dry.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of situations where using water spot remover after iron remover and rinsing makes sense.
Definitely. And in the winter, like Nick mentioned, if you're in a snow belt, just on the sides of your car, give it a couple sprays. When you're washing, it's gonna make your life easier.
So we can just spray it on and pressure wash off, right?
Right, but agitation is always our friend. We're using a rinseless dampened towel, wrung out as much as we can. We don't want it wet, we just want it damp. And we're gonna agitate, we're not gonna flip the towel.
If I know anything about detailers, because I'm one of them,
Right.
they are not going to squeeze this towel out as much as Ivan recommends. What's your persuasive pitch for him?
Wring it out till you think it's dry and then wring it out again.
Why?
Well, you don't want that extra moisture. You want the water spot remover doing the job. You don't want the rinseless wash. Rinseless wash is just to dampen the towel to make it safer.
What if you didn't use a damp towel?
It will absorb too much of the water spot remover off the surface. We're not trying to absorb it off the surface, we're just trying to agitate it and spread it.
Does it matter what towel I use?
I like a Nolo nap towel, but no, it doesn't really matter.
Does water spot remover remove all water spots?
No, it removes the minerals that cause the water spots.
What do detailers use before water spot remover? Or a product like this, a mineral cleanse?
They used acids. And this is an acid, it's lactic acid. But they use nastier acids like hydrofluoric acid and just things that make your blood curdle. Actually break your bones down too. But we don't want to do that. We have lactic acid in ours. It's safe. Of course, you're not going to drink it and you're not going to take your bath in it, but it's something your body actually produces. And now, once the surface is cleansed of minerals, the paint should be back to its natural state. And paint naturally wants to bead.
I always think of this step as one that you could skip and the customer would never know.
Right.
But it's all about, am I the kind of person who does things the right way, or do I take shortcuts when no one's looking?
It's a 5-minute step. It gives you much better results, much cleaner, clearer paint. It's gonna make the polishing easier. Your pads are gonna last longer. It's gonna take less time. So why skip the step? It actually takes you more time skipping the step. So the question is, why would you skip this step?
You sold me, Ivan.
It's not for saving time. It's not for saving money. All you're doing is thinking you're saving a step. So Nick, time to rinse again. I think we'll reverse the roles back to where they should be. The towel you don't put back in your wash bucket. We have a separate bucket because we're filming multiple cars every day. If not, rinse it in clear water, then launder it with your other towels. Time to rinse. Those honeycombs as well, great time to use quick beads.
The water is beading off the surface.
Right.
We could get more beading with quick beads. We could get more beading, slickness, and gloss with NV ceramic sealant. That's not what we're doing here today because we're prepping this for a polish video.
Right.
Anything else they should know about this final stage and kind of how we dry and what to do now?
Very simple. We take our towel, we dry it. We're going to be polishing. So any little bit of marring we might induce with the towel, and I say might, not a concern. Now, if you are concerned about that, grab a bit of Rinseless, put it on the surface, use that as a drying aid. It doesn't leave anything behind that's going to impede the polishing or the coating that's going afterwards.
The world famous drying blanket, Ivan.
Yes.
Tell me why I should care about this towel.
This is a micro twist loop. Does a fantastic job of drying the surface. It's very safe. You're not going to get snags with this towel like the longer twist loop towels.
You may notice that Ivan's is bone dry. Mine is a little damp. We've washed some other cars with it. One thing you can do if it is bone dry or not, you can prime it on the glass. I do notice these tend to dry a little bit better when they're at least a little damp.
Right, capillary reaction helping us.
The big time risk for scratching seems to be during the drying phase. And a lot of people get sold on these blowers and they want to spend a lot of money on a blower and then they're going to use it to dry the paint and they'll never have to touch the paint with their drying towel. That to them seems like the safest way to dry a car. Is that a good way to do it, Ivan?
Unless you have 0 TDS water, if you're drying that way, you're not only removing the water off the surface, but you're also evaporating some of it onto the surface, meaning you're leaving minerals. We just spent time taking the minerals off the surface. We don't want to leave any more on there.
It's wild to think, but this is actually a part of the cleaning process, is a manual dry.
Right.
The agitation of the drying, it's light, it's safe, but this is continuing the clean.
Yeah, and we're not putting any pressure on the towels. They do a fantastic job of absorbing, so you don't need pressure on the towel.
I do like to anchor the top part of my towel high, so that even if I got sloppy with my left hand, it's not gonna hit the wheel and it's not gonna hit the ground. So when you're doing these vertical panels, it's important to just anchor with your top hand, and that way you can ensure your towel's not gonna hit the ground and get dirty or hit a dirty wheel. We've cleaned the wheel, Ivan, but we don't want our drying towel hitting the wheel, right?
Exactly. You never know what's been on there previously, and it's not necessarily the wheel I'm concerned about, it's more the tire. If they've had one of those greasy tire dressings on there, that can cause a bit of a problem. And speaking of greasy tire dressing, we have a video dedicated to just cleaning wheels. An in-depth look at how and why to keep your wheels clean. And the video, you can find it right here.